This video lesson is filled with several examples of conjugating regular Latin verbs. Let's begin by looking at the verb woco, wocara, wokawi, wocatum. Remember that we need to identify the conjugation of the infinitive, which is first because of the ARE. The base is woke. Now we are ready to write the verb. In the first person singular, remember that we only need to write the verb for the present tense by copying the first principal part, which is woco. To write the imperfect and the future tense with the same subject, you write the base, add the connecting vowel, which is used for first conjugation, and then attach the appropriate subject ending for the imperfect tense. The same steps are followed for the future tense. Now let's look at how the verb will be written in the third person singular. Here I begin by writing the base. I add the connecting vowel for first conjugation, and then add the appropriate ending for the he, she, it subject in the tense that's requested. This process is the same no matter what tense I'm working with. Remember that this is a first conjugation verb, so you'll need to use future tense 1 and 2 endings. Again, begin by identifying the conjugation of the verb. This verb means to divide. The infinitive ends with ERE. The first principal part ends with O. That makes this a third conjugation verb. Its base is DIVID. To write the first person singular form of this verb in all three tenses, we'll follow the steps on the bottom of the chart. The present tense first person singular is simply the first principal part. For the other tenses, I must go through the steps of writing the base, adding a connecting vowel. This is a third conjugation verb, so I need to use the connecting vowel that's appropriate for that, and then attaching the ending. It's a future tense third and fourth conjugation ending because this is a third conjugation verb. We'll follow the same process as we work through the third person plural form of this verb. For the future tense of third conjugation verbs, a connecting vowel is not required, so we simply attach the ending to the base. This verb means to exercise or to practice. Remember that you want to first of all identify the conjugation of the verb. That means we need to look at the infinitive ending and its first principal part to determine that this is a second conjugation verb. Now you can get the base. Remember that whenever you are asked to write the first person singular or the I form of any verb, always use the first principal part. For all other tenses and all other subjects, you use the base, the connecting vowel that is appropriate for the conjugation of the verb, and the ending that matches the tense and subject requested. Remember that for future tense, you must think about what conjugation you are dealing with. This is a second conjugation verb, so we are using the future tense 1 and 2 endings. Now let's look at a new example. Again, always make sure you can identify the conjugation of the verb by looking at the ending on the infinitive. Because it's ERE, I need to look at the first principal part. This is a third IO verb. That means I will also need to use the connecting vowels for third IO. I cannot stress how important it is for you to remember that the first person singular form of any verb does not follow the steps of base, connecting vowel, and ending. But that is the only time you need to do that. Here we're using the third person singular, which is not the subject I, but actually the subject he. I see I have an error on the slide. That's why we're adding T to the end and not O. When you look at the connecting vowels, sometimes you will see that we have 3 different connecting vowels in a tense. Like for third IO, you see that you can use I or IU. The IU we only use in front of the NT. That's why when we wrote the third person singular, we have only the letter I. That is the end of our examples. You should now feel somewhat comfortable writing Latin verbs in any of the tenses, no matter what conjugation they belong to.